Hi, this is Chaka.
Hey Shaka, it's Dave Lawrence at Hawaii Public Radio. How are you?
Oh, I'm just great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And we're really excited for the big show coming up. And it's just hearing your name reminds me of being a little kid growing up near Philly, listening to WDAS with my mom, jamming your
Oh,
tunes.
wow. Dig
And
that.
I'm sure it's a name that brings back some memories to you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of people grew up with me, on me, both.
And
You know,
when you
a lot of people, tell me, I grew up listening to you. I said, well, I grew up singing, so, a lot of us, a lot of people, are we're the same age group, they don't know that. And, cause I started at 17, so.
What a lucky thing, and we've been so blessed to have you still going. And I think the most exciting thing, Shaka, and I'm sure it excites you, is you're coming, you're still on tour, you're drawing huge audiences, you're going to be playing here in Maui. Tell us a little bit about what's in store for folks and what makes you most excited these days.
Well, okay, let's start with the end. I'm most excited about just being alive and still being current. I think that's a big blessing. For me, that that anyone, in this generation finds me relevant. I see the blessing in that, and I'm trying to live up to that, live up to and into that. I'm most excited about coming to Hawaii. I've been there in a very long time. I have family there that I'll be visiting. I'll be staying a couple days extra. My baby sister grew up in Maui. She went to school there. My stepmom was a Montessori school teacher there.
Wow.
So I have some family roots there that I'll be. I'm looking so forward to seeing. I have a nephew I've never met, and he's like 8 years old, so I feel terrible about that. So it's just sad that I have to wait till I have a gig.
Your last time
But,
here was 2003, that show at the Blaisdell Arena, Doobie Brothers, Isaac Hayes, all that stuff.
yeah,
I was there.
yeah.
That was fun. That was what a weird bill, huh? Martha Reeves, as I remember.
Yeah. They always throw me on some weird stuff, but it's okay.
That was like the variety show New Year's thing. When
Exactly.
when you talk about your blessed life, there's something I love it that you have that sense of humility, because as I get older, as you lose people in your life, you really realize how much you have to be fortunate about, and it sort of
Amen.
it makes you a little bit smaller. There was a great thing said about you, and I can just imagine it must really flatter you. It must humble you. When Miles Davis said, "She sings like my horn."
Wow. Yeah. That sticks out in my head. The fact that Miles said that about me, I mean, I felt, I said, okay, I can die now. I'm good. I felt almost like that. Like I had reached a pinnacle, because I grew up listening to Miles Davis. My dad was a big bebopper, what they used to call beatniks back in the day. And I grew up listening to all the great horn players. He was a, jazz aficionado, and, from the great horn players to the great jazz drummers to the great, jazz singers. That's what my dad played. My mom was more into opera and a lot of the female jazz singers.
Hmm.
So I got to hear, I was born, weaned, and raised on the best music that there is. So when I got to work with Miles, when we met, I was like, I felt so special, I said, wow, I get to meet somebody that I grew up on, He, Dizzy Gillespie, and a few other people I've worked with, I grew up listening to. So that was really big. And when I had him in the studio, when we were in the studio together, and we were doing on the CK CD that I did, where he did that one song, Sticky Wicket, with Prince and I, that was like a dream come true. And we had planned right after that, Prince, myself, and Miles to do a rock a rock and roll album. But Miles died before we could bring it to fruition. However, yeah, when Miles said that about me, and when Arif Mardin said, one of the great producers of all time, said that I was like, my voice was like the instrument that he could play anything on.
That's
I said, whoa.
I can imagine. I mean, especially
I'm like, wow.
When you talked about the Miles thing, it's not just to me, it wasn't just that you got to meet him. It was really that you ended up, the weaning, the great story about your folks, but it was like all of that enculturation, for lack of a better word, that led to him being able to, you didn't just meet him, you were working with him.
Yeah, and he wanted to play on every song on the CD. And you know how hard it was when you say, Miles, like, you can't play on every song. So... but I couldn't, it was hard to say. So what we did was, we just almost let him play on every song. We just couldn't use all of it. It's just cuckoo,
I bet. I'm sure it's a disorienting kind of memory because you're such an appreciative person. So when you get to that kind of bedrock cat, it's like, whoa. And
God.
It made me think, when you talk about your parents, getting back to your folks again and the way that they nurtured who you are. And then I look at the diverse lineup of cats that you've been able, and we're talking diverse. I'm just going to name a couple here to paint a picture for folks. We have Ry Cooder, all the way to Rick Wakeman from Yes, to Stevie Wonder, to Steve Winwood, to Ray Charles, Chick Corea, Billy Cobham, Quincy Jones, Robert Palmer. I mean, it's you were able to put your feet into a lot of territory.
Yes, I was. Yes, and I didn't have to knock on any doors. They seeked me out. Then that is also like, wow, what happened?
Which one blew you?
What did I do to deserve this?
Right, right. The good fortune of it.
But I just stopped looking at the gift horse and started riding him.
God bless you. That's a great thing. That's a great thing to remember, actually. And of the cats I just named, any particular stories that come to mind about how?
Well,
sure.
Not Rick Wakeman. Well, Rick Wakeman was great, because he was really one of the first conspiracy theorists I've ever met. And that was back in
before that was a term.
Back in a time when it wasn't a very popular stance.
Right.
In fact, almost nobody was looking like, in that direction, but he was, and he meant it. But Addicted to Love, Robert Palmer, he and I actually had a whirlwind love affair. I know he had those with quite a few girls. I found out later, and I found out later that he was married, and had a wife on one of the islands and kids, and I didn't know all that. But I was really in love with him, and we went in studio, and we put down Addicted to Love. We just were, out one night. We went to the studio, and I arranged the vocals, the background vocals, put them down. We made it into a lovely duet, and we were both with the same record label, both with Warner. So we said, oh, they're going to be so, stoked when they hear this, Turns out they were pissed about it. And they made him erase all my vocals off of there. Can you believe that?
Why?
I was like,
why?
I don't know. They couldn't give me a good reason. It was just, I think they were pissed that they didn't make it happen themselves, You know what I'm saying? That they didn't make but it had to be deeper than that,
That was about the time of his life when Power Station was happening too, yeah?
Yeah, maybe all that had something to do with it.
Tony Thompson, he was a bad dude, huh?
Yeah.
He was a bad dude. I remember that.
Yeah. So those vocals, when I hear those vocals, those are my arrangements. He did give me credit for that on the album, which I'm sure, Warner's wasn't happy about that either, but I'm glad, he's a bit of a rebel,
Did that relationship with him continue as a friend up?
Oh, yeah, we stayed friends, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
He was an interesting cat, huh? Coming from where he was to
Very.
then become into the soul and the American funk and stuff the way he got.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a very interesting human being and a big heart. He was a good person. Fundamentally, you know, um, he, I, if I'd known he was married, I wouldn't have done that, but we, you know, he was really a good people.
God bless him.
Yeah, God bless him. That's all we can say right now.
Sneakin' Sally, one of my favorite jams. I mean, the guy he did so many cool things.
Oh, absolutely.
His heart was really in a
Absolutely.
place. You know what's kind of cool about you? It made me really think about the technical side of your career. You've gotten to do so many other people's songs and then take them really far. And that I know a long time ago that was a more common thing. And then we got into that era when people would write their own stuff and try to make
Right.
it. But for
Yeah, 'cause
you,
where the money is.
talk about when I'm thinking there's been a lot of cases like this that have been huge for you, but an early one that is interesting to me. First big hit with Rufus, Tell Me Something Good, Stevie Wonder. What connects all you guys? Like, how did it happen?
Well, we weren't connected at all. Bob Monaco was was our producer at that time, and he's no longer with us. He was a great guy. We were like just I'd already covered one Stevie song on the first Rufus offering. What was Maybe Your Baby?
Right.
Yeah, and I guess that's how Stevie knew I existed
Right.
because of that. And so we were in the studio one night. I was very pregnant with my daughter, about to deliver, and I remember I almost had the baby when when Bob Monaco said, "Would you guys like to meet Stevie? He wants to come down to the studio."
Oh, wow.
We were like, "Oh yeah, right, Bob." And when he showed up, I think I almost went into labor, but it was great to meet him. And actually, that song, the writing was a collaboration, but I was just so excited to have him, want to work with us that I said, oh, forget. And plus, I wasn't of that mind. I wish I'd been more of that mind when I was younger, to take credit
I dig
for
it.
some of the, my contributions. My checks would be a little fatter now if I had done that. But anyway, I don't do this for the money. If I did it for the money,
You'd be doing a whole different kind of music.
Hello?
I dig it.
So I'd have signed my soul to Satan or something,
No, I totally.
But the thing is that I was just so happy, to work with him. And it's about that. That's what it's about. If anybody's really in this for the money, it's really such the wrong way to go, because the music is free. It's for everybody. That is for everyone's ears. How can you limit what the ears hear?
I like that.
That's cuckoo to even think that you can control that or limit or
Yeah, once you
or-
put it out there, it's I know
a
what you
wrap.
mean.
You can't unhear anything.
That's a good way to put it.
So,
You can't unhear
so-
anything. How about Quincy Jones? What led you to him?
Yeah. What led me to Quincy?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'd known Quincy for years before we worked together. Him being, living in Chicago when at the time he did. I'd met him several times before we worked together. And he's almost like an uncle. He's one of my uncles. He, Iris Martin, those two cats we're like actual, family members.
They care about
to
you.
me. Yes. And so once I got, Rufus and I were, making good music, and the record company wanted him to produce, we were like, yeah, this is a match made in heaven. So we were, it was just like, it seemed like a natural progression, a natural thing to do, to work with him, for me anyway. And I think we did good work together.
He is an amazing cat. It's nice to see.
He is an amazing man.
I mean-
Still. He's got all his wits about him. You know, he's traveling around smelling the roses mostly now in his life. And I see him, like, when I play, like, big private weddings and stuff like that in India or something like that, he's always on the guest list. So, you know, he's just traveling around the world, going to weddings and parties and having a really good time and doing life, loving, enjoying, you know, the fruits of his labor. And so I think that's a beautiful place to be.
That's an important area. You got some lessons, I can tell just in saying that. It really makes me, I get a little chill when you talk like that. I mean, when you think about the important things to remember about life and not getting caught up in the bad stuff, are there some lessons you can...
You know, you have to remember that this is a business. I am in it, but not, you know, I'm of it. Well, I don't know how to put it.
I dig what you're saying.
I am in it, but not of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm, you know, all the ugly stuff that goes along with this business, and there's a whole lot of it. You know, I steer clear of, and I hold on tightly, you know, to, you know,
who you are,
the good stuff and the important stuff, you know, which is, you know, my spirit, you know, the spiritual aspect of it is very important to me. What you say to people, you know, the lyrics they hear, you know, are so important. I know because I know that Joni Mitchell has saved my ass on many a tour. The Hydra album, I mean, was my traveling companion for many years, you know.
So you're saying you find critical inspiration, you're saying, and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I see these kids today. I'm raising a 14-year-old. So I'm really, you know, tuned into what she's listening to and how affected she is by the music and lyrics more so than anything. These days, kids are listening to what the hell you are saying. They're not just listening to the beat, you know, or the music. They want to hear what the hell the artist is saying. And this is something that's fairly new, you know, with young kids. I mean, I think, because I don't recall, you know, my generation of people being so wrapped up in the lyrics, you know. Some lyrics, you know, but not in a way that they are today. So,
looking for guidance, I guess, through the music.
Yes, they are. They are, because we're not, you know, parents today are not giving it up. You know, we're too busy running after that almighty dollar, you know, and the kids suffer. You know,
I couldn't imagine living in their world with the internet and all this crap they've got coming at them. I mean, it's,
oh my God!
You know what I mean?
So sad when you see the telephones are their best friends.
Right.
How these kids could not live without a phone.
Isn't it crazy? I mean, it's nuts.
It's cuckoo. It's insane.
I can't believe the way any of it. If I can just confess, as a 44-year-old, and I still can't believe records are gone. I mean, everything's on the damn YouTube. Yeah. I mean, it's like you're dropping acid when you realize what's going on today. You can't even...
Absolutely. It doesn't seem real, but it is. And so we have to I just have, you know, I'm getting ready to drop this single called I'm in Love with Myself. And these kids, you know, have such one thing I've gleaned is that
narcissism.
One thing that I've gleaned from these kids today is that they have such a poor image, self-image. You know, self-image is everything to them. You know, how the visuals, and I wrote this song myself, and a guy named B. Slade wrote this song called Love Myself, and it's just about, you know, loving yourself, you know, because the lesson is you cannot be loved by anyone else unless you love yourself. You know, you have to find that love for yourself, and then you can and then love will come to you, you know. no love. So, and no matter what you look like, no matter, you should still find a way. I'm still working on that, you dig, on self-love,
It's a lifetime struggle, isn't it, to
It's
figure
a
out?
lifetime struggle, yes it is. So, I get it, and I just want to let the kids know that, it took me a long way. I say in the song, I wasn't born this way. It's taking me a long time, and I'm still working on it, But you've got to, if you just start feeling that and saying that, make it a mantra of sorts, eventually you can at least get to like yourself a whole lot.
It's a
It's
trip.
the worst thing that can happen.
It's a trip you say that. I had this reggae band from D.C. They're called Soja on one time.
Yes,
and
Soldier, I've heard of them.
Yeah, Soja. And the cat, he said this really interesting thing. I always remember it. He said, life is a process. It's just, it's an always changing process.
Always.
And that is
Yes.
hard for us to kind of grasp. And what you just said, it just sounded like that's the kind of...
It's so true. It's a never-ending series of, of tasks.
Right, and tests.
Of lessons and tasks.
Right.
And it just never stops.
As I wrap it up with you, Chaka, the Chaka Khan Foundation, I do this thing every Friday on my show. I do like a 5-minute one-on-one interview with a nonprofit that tries to help the disabled. I do it because of my mom, who was disabled and passed on. I see this foundation. I hear about your nephew who inspired you. I just felt a little bit of kinship with you. I was hoping you could just talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I'm, especially with these children who grew up, who now are grown. A lot of the kids I started working with are now each reaching 19 to 21, autistic children, and now we have the incredible and amazing task to try to figure out what are these people going to do for a living. What are they going to do? When now that they're adults, and how are they going to fit in to our society as
real members,
contributors,
right?
Yeah, members and contributors to this madness, to this dark, mad place that we live in. So that's now what I'm working on. Trying to find the best and to educate parents as to the best places that these kids can go to, or these adults, young adults now, can go to, get some work ethic going, get some pride in themselves. A lot of them are into repetitious stuff. They'd be great in putting together, intricate electrical parts, anything, you know what I'm saying?
Utilize the talent is what you're talking about. I love it.
Yeah, yes. Working on farms, working on, providing healthy food,
They have a gift
things
to offer is what you're talking about.
There's lots of things. Yeah, there are quite a few things that they can do. So just making these sorts of job opportunities,
available
for these people is now our job. So, yeah, along with my educational initiatives and stuff like that, I do a lot of speaking to kids in high school. I'll go into a city a couple of days before I have a gig there and pick a high school, or a grammar school, and go and have open mic with them, which is often difficult to do because they always have prepared, when they know I'm coming, they'll prepare like a Broadway show for me. It's so beautiful. To see a band with a big band and dancers with costumes and they'll do like a whole show with my songs in it. It's just amazing, these kids.
Respect.
It's just what. So then we try to have open mic after that, which is limited, but I do at least get to communicate with these children and let them know, I'm not just a ship in the night. I'm going to be back, and we keep a relationship going, with the kids, So,
it's nice.
I'm just doing what I can.
That's all we can do, but
That's all we can do.
There's a lot of people, when they get stuff, they just keep thinking about themselves. So when you see someone who has like you said, you don't do it for the money, but your heart is in the right place. I just wanted to give you some credit for it because it inspires me.
Thank you. Well, you sound like your heart's in the right place too.
Well, it's hard
and it's a true blessing to talk to somebody. We can use words like blessing. Well,
that's
nice.
Thank you. Well, that's spiritual.
It's refreshing.
Thank you very much. That spiritual side's important to me. It's something I've only really discovered more recently in my life, but
Well, keep it going. Keep it going, baby.
God bless you,
Keep it
Chaka.
going. You're in the right direction. You're going on the right street, and God bless you.
B.B. King. Anything on B.B. King, he's hanging on. He was one of my most inspirational interviews. And I was just
he's a great guy. He's a beautiful spirit. He's a lovely soul. I haven't met him, but
wow,
3 times.
Never met him. Okay, that's cool.
I don't really know him.
I was just checking in case before I got you off the line, in case you're like, of course I know BB. I mean, you never know, but I've been thinking about him.
I don't know him that well, but I do admire him, and I love him as an artist, and I know that he's got a beautiful spirit.
Well, we got to pray for him. He's in the midst of some shit right now. If you haven't
Is he?
He's hanging on
I'll keep him lifted. We just all keep him lifted, and I'll put that on my website as well.
God bless you.
To keep him lifted, okay? Aloha. This is Chaka Khan, and you're listening to my good buddy, Dave Lawrence.
I give you a big hug. I certainly hope that you had a good time talking today. I really appreciate it.
I had a great time talking to you. And I hope you're coming out to the show, I'm sure.
I'm in Honolulu, so unless you're coming... I know. I mean, believe me, I wish they did ferries or something, but to get to another island here, it's practically like flying to California the way they...
I'm told.
It's awful.
You know what? I'm going to keep you in my prayers. And you just keep
You know what, Chaka?
And keep God in the equation,
Today's the day in 2013 my mom passed, so that means a lot that you keep me in your prayers.
Oh, God bless you and bless. And you know what? She's with her father right now. So this earthly stuff that we're doing, you know what I'm saying?
Temporary, pedestrian.
It's temporary, and it's just cuckoo. And you know what? You just keep the Lord in the equation, and it will move right on.
I plan on it.
In the right direction.
I'll give you a really big hug. It was inspirational talking to you.
Okay, darling. Big hugs to you.
Yep. And be safe. God bless you.
I'll see you next time then.
Stay in touch, Chaka. I really appreciate it.
Okay, we'll do that, Dave. God bless you, baby.
God bless you.
And all is well here.